everybody, welcome to another episode of Gamer Logic. I'm Mike Murtis, and today I'm very excited to introduce to you a brand new series that we're starting covering Neo Geo CD Games, and this new series will be known as
Neo Geo Trio.
That's right, the Neo Geo Trio. The Neo Geo Trio will cover 3 Neo Geo CD-ROM games every episode. If I stay interested in the platform and keep getting some really good games, I'll keep doing these episodes, and maybe, who knows, we'll even cover the whole Neo Geo CD library, which would be pretty awesome. Of course, I'm going to do other stuff as well, but I figure since I picked up a Neo Geo and have never really sat down and played a vast amount of Neo Geo games, that this would be the perfect series to start. So, we're going to go ahead and get into the first game that I tried out, and it's a street fighting game. It's another fighting game, and the game is known as Breakers. Now, SNK has a bad rap for being known as making nothing but Street Fighter clones. And while Breakers does have a lot of similarities to the Street Fighter games, the combo system of this is fun, fast, unique, and the game is just fun to play. And yes, there are a lot of obvious copies of characters. Like the one girl character I was playing as is obviously a combination character of both Chun-Li and Ryu, which is actually pretty cool. And the amount of characters are vast enough where the game is fun, the theme is interesting, and the gameplay and control is fast and accurate, which is key in any fighting game. I thought it was pretty cool. The loading times on Neo Geo CD aren't bad. They do take a little bit to start up, but it's not too distracting. Of course, the arcade version is the best, so if you have a full Neo Geo console, you'll want to get this on the original Neo Geo because you can skip the CD loading times. It's pretty solid and it's pretty fun to play. Out of a star rating, I would probably give it a 3.5 out of 5 since it does have its obvious Street Fighter copy and the loading times are a little slow, but overall it is a decent game, and again, that's Breakers. Breakers looks like it also had some kind of arcade upgrade too that wasn't available on the Neo Geo CD, and that's called Breakers Revenge. So I don't know if that's just an upgrade or what, but that plays pretty decent as well. So we're going to go ahead and get on to our next game, which unfortunately tries to rip off another game or borrow from another game, and it just doesn't do a good job. And that game, of course, is Last Resort. And maybe I'm being a little too harsh on it, but it's very obvious that the developers saw Contra and wanted to kind of take a lot of elements from that, especially Contra the Alien Wars. Except for it really being aliens, it's a cross between like Cyborg, so it's like Aliens meets Terminator. Your character, it's a 2-player game by the way, your character runs through the battlefield in a city, and just kind of fights through, shoots, and taking out enemies. And right away, the thing you'll notice that is really annoying, and I don't know why the developers didn't put this in, especially because it's obvious they were copying from Contra, is you cannot shoot diagonally. You can shoot up, but you can't shoot down. You can't shoot up left, up right, you can't do anything like that, which is really annoying because there are tons of enemies that are up on top of buildings, and your natural reaction is just to shoot to the upper right and try to, destroy the enemies, and you can't because you can't shoot in that direction. So it's obviously kind of a distraction. This game does have some cool features that does set it apart from Contra. There is kind of a safe house that you can go in and reload and get all your ammo and energy loaded back up. And then another thing is, I noticed as I was playing through it, is that the game has multiple paths. Like you run up to an elevator and you can go up or down and kind of take different stages. So that is a unique approach to a formula that has already been done. That being said, again, the lack of being able to shoot diagonally really kind of threw me off, and it's no Contra, it's passable. I would probably give it a 2.5 out of 5 stars, and again, I think I said that game was Last Resort, and it's not. If I did, it's actually Cyberlip. So, a couple errors this first episode, which I apologize, but trying to do all the stuff in one take isn't easy, but we'll get through it. So, I've covered 2 games so far. Again, the first game I covered was Breakers, and the second game I covered was Cyberlip. The next game we're covering kind of takes a lot of interesting elements from various racing games, but does it in a overtop view. And a good example of another game that I played for another system was RC Pro-Am. RC Pro-Am was very fun, very addicting, and it was like a top-down, almost isometric view game that you played and you raced through and you went through all these different tracks. This game is very similar to that, except it kind of takes the Japanese racing scheme to it with drifting and all the different types of vehicles. You go through all these different terrain and you're pretty much racing through, and all these really heavy turns will come in and you'll need to be very careful to control and not wipe out your car. I will say that due to how close your car is to the actual game, when the camera is zoomed into it, some of these turns are really hard to do, and you do have an actual map screen that kind of tells you when the turns are coming up, but again, it's just really hard to feel the turns. You do get used to it after a while, and I think it's pretty much just a lot of memorization of the tracks, and once you get past that, I think you'll have a lot of fun. But another thing that really kind of makes this game lose its flow is how much loading the Neo Geo CD has to do for this particular game. The courses aren't particularly long because it's done in phases, so you maybe get about 10 seconds of loading time, and after the 10 seconds of loading time you go through your course, which is roughly about 30 seconds long, and then you have to go through another 10 to 15 second loading time. So that can be pretty long. So I'm sure if it was the original arcade version or the original Neo Geo console cart, it wouldn't be so bad and it'll be a little bit more addictive. But this is one of those games where the loading time really throws a wrench into things, if you will. But it is decent, so I'd probably give it a 3 out of 5 stars, even though the loading time's a bit annoying. So that was our first episode of the Neo Geo Trio. I know I was kind of a little rough around the edges, and we'll get better at it as I kind of cover more of the games and get used to the names of the games. But yeah, you know, that's kind of what happens when you do things in one take. And hopefully we'll keep on developing and we'll keep going through these episodes. I'm Mike Murtis on Let It Logic. Hopefully you guys will rate, comment, and subscribe. And that's it. Peace, folks.